So today I want to talk about Sapiential Discourse Universal Wisdom Book 2, a chapter in here that really helped me understand a little bit more about Indigo Children. And I'm going to start with reading one of the poems from in this book too. I am indigo blue. Maybe you are too. If you came here after 1975, sometimes like me, you don't feel alive unless you are deeply vested in success and your life is not a mess, not a wreck from all the worldly driven stress, along with those human-made mental tests. The tests that tell me I am not whole, that need my need for spontaneity must hold. But if I don't, I will be told. Take the pill, it will cure your ills. Yet inside, I fully know I need not be told. Really, I am pure intellectual gold, forged in the heavens not a long time ago. This was really something that kind of stood out to me because at the core of this chapter, it talks about indigo souls who came here on Earth since the mid 1970s with who have a heightened level of awareness. These are people who are deeply intuitive, emotionally sensitive, creative, and often very aware of energy around them, even if they didn't have the like English language for it growing up. What really stood out to me is how strongly the chapter reframes sensitivity. It's not something that needs to be fixed. It's not something that needs to be suppressed. It's something that really needs to be intentional. Indigos often feel everything, people, environments, emotions, energy. And because of that, they often struggle in systems that are created by others that are rigid, fast-paced, disconnected from the body and the spirit. And honestly, that alone explains so much of what people feel too. In this chapter, too, it talks about how many indigos experience challenges early in life, trouble focusing, difficulty sitting still, emotional overwhelm, health sensitivities, feeling misunderstood by authority figures. And a lot of times in society, instead of asking, what does this child need? Our systems often ask, how do we make them behave? And that really hit me too, especially if you grew up with like ADHD, different things like that. And because of that, so many people that I see, and honestly, probably many of you watching this video, were broken as a child. You were just overwhelmed, you were sensitive, you were perceived in a world that didn't know how to hold that too. One of the pieces in this chapter talks about ADHD and ADD too. And I want to say this, clearly and gently. This isn't about dismissing anyone's lived experience or support needs. It's about expanding the conversation around those things. This chapter in the book really reframes these diagnoses as an early attempt to understand spiritually sensitive and highly perception nervous systems before we even had language for things like regulation, trauma, embodiment, or energetic sensitivity. Instead of asking why someone couldn't focus, the deeper question is what kind of environment were they being asked to focus in? So if you think about that, when you're thinking about children, when you're thinking about learning, when you're thinking about education, for a lot of indigos, a lot of the systems created weren't aligned for how they're supported too. Another part of this chapter in this book talks about starseeds as prototypes too. These were souls who came before the main wave of indigos to pave the way. Many of them grew up feeling completely misunderstood, mislabeled, and unsupported. They carried similar traits, but lived in a time when there was even less awareness or compassion around sensitivity. And without mentorship, grounding, or spiritual support, many of them turned unhealthy coping mechanisms, not because they were flawed, because they were in a world trying to survive that didn't see them and acknowledge them. That part felt heavy, but it also felt really, really compassionate too. What I appreciated most in this chapter is the chapter doesn't stop at just the struggles. It helps make clear what indigos and star seeds are supported and how they're supported when they have mentorship, grounding practices, safe community, and a space to slow down. Something really incredible happens. They often become the healers of the world. They become the teachers, the creatives, the leaders, and the visionaries. Not because they're trying to fix this world, but because they're here trying to change how we relate to it. Meditation, conscious movement, nourishment, nature, and high vibrational environments aren't extras for their souls. These are necessities in order for them to thrive. Reading this chapter felt like a reminder that a lot of us weren't meant to fit into these old structures. We were meant to question them, we were meant to soften them, and we were meant to help eventually build something new. If you've ever felt like you've had to work harder than others just to feel balanced, focused, or okay, this chapter, says you're not behind. You're just different by design, too. And so, if this resonates with you, I want to read one last poem from the book. Find it. It says, dark into light. It was you who made us dark, and just because we play with the larks and you prefer fire and sparks during the sunsets in March, you cannot let us be, because we talk to our friends, the trees, and dance around with the bees. You thought we should be caught with nets. You thought somehow we were not blessed. Therefore, you put all we believe to the test. And if we did not do what you thought was best, you turned us into liars and put us to the fire. Yet what you did not know was that we were not your foe. We were believed to be that average Joe knows more about the goddess and God than may of you may ever know, unless you began to understand that source is within every man, and that light and love has always been our plan. If this resonates with you, your sensitivity isn't a flaw. Your depth is not a burden. Your nervous system isn't broken. It's perceptive. You're not here to numb yourself to survive in this world. You're here to stay awake in it. And I just want to thank you for tuning into this video and if this spoke with to you. Just let me know in the comments below. I'd be really curious what your takeaway was from this.